Hey Jake. Okay, so for 627 to 640, what are you supposed to do? Let's see. So, 627. Oh, 627 was the one about what kind of baseline functionality do you want to establish. So the idea there is just, what is it that you want to make sure you can do, and it kind of depends on your game, but like you want to, for example, you want to check to make sure the rooms are connected the way that they're supposed to, like if it matches. Are you the guy that had the map? Yeah, make sure that it matches your map. So when you go south or go whatever direction that you're going to the room you think you are, maybe like just trying out all the commands that you have, making sure that all the commands work. Did you implement back? Because there was a back command. Let's see, what did you implement here? So there was a back command that they talked about earlier on. But just making sure all of these guys work. Let's see. And then as far as I'm not going to worry too much about the back command for you because you implemented a lot of other stuff, but I do want you to go through these guys. Definitely these guys. So refactor your project to introduce a separate player class. So the way you add a class is you say new class and type in the name of it, player. And what does it say? A player object should store at least the current room of the player, but you may also like to store the player's name or other information. Okay. So if we're going to store, actually this is a good one to do a video on because it's not completely straightforward. If we're going to store, I don't want to do this. If we're going to store the current room in the player, we need to take it out of the game class actually and use the player instead of the game class to store the current room. So I'm going to actually do a cut and paste, and this is going to break our game class, but then we'll go in to our player class and make sure that we do what we need to do over there. Okay, so I'm going to do a cut, and in the player class I'm going to do a paste. I'm going to paste over this X because I don't need that. Paste. And then we're going to need a method to set the current room. So let's make it so this is a mutator. So we talked about accessors and mutators. This is a mutator. It's going to set the value of the current room. So we're going to pass in a room, and we're going to say current room equals room. Okay, so now we can set the current room. Let's just say set current room. The parameter is a room. Room to be set. And then we're not going to return anything because this is a void, right? So we're also going to want to be able to get the current room here too, but for now let's start with this. So here then what we'll do is, instead of saying, so this is going to break when we hit compile, this is going to be the first thing that's going to break. So instead of setting the current room this way, we're going to create a player first. So we need to say private player we'll create a player, and then we will, well, we can do it this way. So item room equals that, and then we can say player dot set current room to room. Okay, so now, so the idea here is we want to, if we're going to store the current room in the player, we don't want to also store it here in the game class, because we're just asking for trouble then. That's just an opportunity to introduce defects, okay? Because you might update the room in game class and not in player class, and just get yourself in all kinds of trouble. So we're eliminating current room from the game class, and now we're going to have to walk through the game class and make sure that if we change the current room, that we use that it's the player's current room that we're changing, and if we need to retrieve the current room, that we're retrieving the player's room. Okay, so let's hit compile and see where else we break here. So okay, so item room, oh, why did I say item? Not room, right? Okay, so that's current room. So now we broke this thing here. Next room equals current room get exit direction. Alright, so you know what might be a good thing to do here is actually equals current room get direction. There's a couple of ways we could do this, but one thing we could do is actually maybe just pass the direction to the player. So let's say maybe just make like a go room in here. Public void go room, and pass it the direction, string direction, and then then we can either, oh, you know what, we should pass back the room we're going to, oops. So we'll either get to the new room, or we'll get a null, right? If that direction's no good. So let's try this. Let's try doing a copy and paste here, and then just, oh, actually, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just return that room? So then we can just say here, next room equals, oh shucks, sorry. Let's see. Player go room direction, and then that way, if the player was able to get there, then we're good. And then if the next room is not equal to null, that's when we'll set the current room. So now here we can say else set current room like that. Okay. There are other ways you could implement this. You might, but it's, you know, the idea is to make it so that like this might not be, this might be an indication that maybe there should be more of the logic in player because I'm calling it in two different places. But at this point, I think this will at least work, and you know, you might think about whether maybe this setting the current room, maybe that should happen in here or not. But for now, that's just giving you the general idea. Then okay, so now here we have a get long description. So let's do a get long description in the player class. So for our room, we have get long description. I'm just going to copy this signature. Okay. Well, may as well copy the comments too. But the idea here, and then paste in here. The idea here is, again, we're just going to delegate to the current room here. Get one description. I copy and paste because that helps me avoid typos. Okay, so now, and this idea of delegation is a common trick that programmers use. You see it in, like, where is it? The game, where the game calls the parser, and then the parser calls command words for that, like for getting the command list. Yeah. So it's a similar idea here. You see this delegation happening here. Okay, so now I'm going to stick player in here. Get one description. And another one here. Okay. And then let's just see if it works here. And if we try to go north, okay, good. All right, so looks like we're able to, you know, we've successfully moved the current room from the game class into the player class. So then I said you could also you could also store the player's name or other stuff in there, but that's the idea for that. So then you want to implement an extension that allows a player to pick up a single item. So in your player class, you also want a field for item, and then when you take an item, you set that item so that the player's holding on to it. Okay, and then later on, I guess you want to change that into a collection. Okay, because then that way you can allow the player to carry any number of items. All right, so hopefully this will at least get you started, and then if you have more questions about the other exercises, but at least get this implemented and send me your latest and greatest, including your room builder class and all that, and then we'll and then any questions, and then we'll move forward from there.